Hello and welcome back to Bubble Gloop Swamp in Banjo-Kazooie. I'm the Comic Foil, and we got half of everything, more or less, last time, but we gotta finish up Bubble Gloop Swamp today, so officially I'm not good enough to finish some of these in one go. But that's okay. So let's get these boots. We did Mr. Vile, and that was probably destined to be the hardest thing about this. And you know what? Probably what would make speeding through that one part easier is doing it with the boots, because I wasn't even trying and I made it through almost that whole pathway. Alright, and that's a fourth Jinjo, and there are more musical notes up there. I don't mind taking a little bit of damage. So yeah, I wanted to get all the musical notes at least before I left this place, but now, yeah, it's a little bit more efficient if you're like speed running 100% or something to make the things that you had to do with the transformation your last things in the level, because then you could just leave the level in the transformation rather than going back to Mumbo. But we didn't do it that way, and that's alright, because we'll do it our way. I started complaining about Donkey Kong 64 last time, and I'm not saying I don't like Donkey Kong 64. It's very nostalgic, and it's a game that I have a lot of fun with and that I've 100%ed multiple times. I would even consider doing that for the channel, actually. It's just, I think, a very flawed game, and I think if Banjo-Tooie maybe stuffs too much into the Banjo formula to the point where it risks being oversaturated, Donkey Kong 64 stuffs in too much stuff that isn't even always good. If that makes any sense to you. Okay. Yeah, I think this is gonna be like we had to come up here for a number of reasons. Yeah, so what's going on with those Croctus, they're called, the Crocti, is each one wants an egg. You shoot one and then you go to the next one. Functionally, it's a lot like the treasure hunt from Treasure Trove Cove, now that I think about it. I was not supposed to fall there. That wasn't the plan. Okay, I don't even know where Croctus is now. I need to find him again. Okay, did we really never go over here? Oh, I forgot all about you, giant snapping turtle. Luckily he doesn't snap at us. Ooh, my feet are so numb and cold. Well, I guess the best way to warm them up is to friggin' smash them. I think the implication is that he's so dumb he doesn't realize that he can keep his feet warmer by keeping them in the shell, so you need to convince him to do it by hurting them. I guess that's it, he's just like too dumb to help himself. Alright, Tank Top. Yeah, so this is Tank Top here. We can also go inside Tank Top, because in 3D platformers you're always going inside monsters, and it's like fine, you can totally survive that. I want that Jinjo, but let's do it safely. Oh, that wasn't safe at all. Okay. The real safe thing to do would be to refill our health using these honeycombs here. We're running out of honeycombs, though, so let's try and be more careful from here on out. Da-da-da-da! Charge. Alright, and that's going to be our 8th Jiggy with all the Jinjos there. Yeah, I decided to just let that run its course. So let's go inside Tank Top now. So all we need is the Jiggy from inside Tank Top and the Jiggy for all the Croctuses, and we need another honeycomb wherever that is. So, okay, I had a feeling. I went into first person because I had a feeling it might have to do with that it might be in here, and it might be a thing that I couldn't very easily see. Okay, but the Tip Top Choir is not going to let me finish. I have to play the Tip Top game. So this is a memory game, if you couldn't tell. No, I don't want to see it again. I know what it is. It's purple, red, purple. Maybe I'll say purple, indigo, purple. There's a lot of shades of... No! Okay, let's play the game first, and then we'll get the honeycomb, because he's gonna interrupt me every time I try to get the honeycomb. No, I'm not talking to you. Okay, let's just walk away. A lot of just turtle violence. It's also a very violent game, and it doesn't try to, like, pretend that it's not. Like, the game knows you're being really cruel to everything. Okay, so we got violet, yellow, blue, red. Okay. Violet, yellow. This is also the kind of thing that's going to be really frustrating for people to watch if I get it wrong. So I better get it right. But I'm usually pretty good about these things. One more lesson. Cyan, purple, violet, yellow, cyan, blue, cyan. Okay, so that was cyan, purple, violet, yellow, cyan, blue? Cyan. The trick is not to call it light blue, blue, dark blue, because then you'll confuse yourself. Yeah, that was a masterpiece. Okay. Very good, and like any successful arts venture, I am going to bleed all the resources out of it so that it has nothing left. There's nothing more I can teach you. You can teach me how to survive a little bit longer by giving me that piece of honeycomb. Increasing my health bar by a theoretical 1/6 of 1 unit. Alright. So now we just need to find this last golden croc. Croc of something. Here it is, behind the gator. Okay, I was thinking it might be in that back corner, actually. It reminds me of like a mini-golf sort of thing. And then that's back over where the tree houses were. So if I had... You know, this probably wasn't the optimal path through the level. I keep talking like I'm speedrunning the game. I'm not, but I am trying to, like, get through as quickly as I can, casually, without thinking too hard about it. So this is back here, right? Or is it... Or no, is it over by Tank Top? Yeah, Tip Top you might recognize as there's a playable character in Diddy Kong Racing named Tip Top, and Diddy Kong Racing was also the first appearance of Banjo, because Diddy Kong Racing, a game made by Rare for the N64, starring Diddy Kong, who... Diddy Kong was also created by Rare, actually, for the first Donkey Kong Country. I didn't want to get hit by you, but I did. Fine. There we go. That's our last Jiggy, and I think that's everything in this stage now. We even got the Witch Witch, we got both of the honeycombs, we got all the musical notes. So we'll make our way out. But yeah, Diddy Kong Racing had a lot of characters that appeared in other Rare projects around that time, most notably Banjo and Conquer the Squirrel. No Kazooie, though, I don't think. I think it's just Banjo. I don't remember if Banjo's even wearing his backpack. So, yeah, I said I would explain this sometime. The origins of this game are really interesting. So Rare was doing a lot of stuff for Nintendo, like the Donkey Kong Country trilogy on the Super Nintendo console. But they were working on something that was going by the title Project Dream, which is going to be an RPG, I think possibly an action RPG, for the Super Nintendo that was going to use graphics very similar to the Donkey Kong series. You can actually see, like, a tech demo of sorts of what it is. So it would star a boy with a sword. I think his name was supposed to be Elliot, and the bad guy was going to be a pirate. I want to say his name was Captain Patch or something like that. He was a very stereotypical looking pirate, the same way that Gruntilda's kind of a very stereotypical looking witch. And Banjo the Bear was actually going to be a side character in that. There were some concept drawings of Banjo the Bear with a sword, I think. But yeah, it was going to be this kind of a fantasy RPG. I imagine it would play something kind of closer to, like, Secret of Mana. I don't think it was supposed to be turn-based, but we're not really sure. It never really got out of those developmental stages. But if you're looking at it, you wouldn't think that that's what would become Banjo-Kazooie, and yet... Sorry, I had to drink some water there. Pontificating really gets your mouth dry. So, yeah, one of the ideas they had from the get-go, though, was they wanted every character in the game to have a different musical theme with, like, a different instrument. Sort of, it reminds me a lot of Peter and the Wolf, if you ever heard that music piece that has a story behind it and everything, but every character in it used a different instrument from their orchestra. So, like, I think Peter used a flute, and then there's a piccolo to represent the bird, and, like... yeah, the whole idea is every character in the story would have a different instrument come in, and when Peter is running away from the wolf, then it's kind of the flute playing a part in opposition to the horns section. I think the wolf is the horn section. Anyway, they wanted to do something sort of like that, where every character had, like, an instrument or a sound associated with them, and I think that's kind of what eventually became the idea of how all the characters in Banjo-Kazooie talk. Because the game did eventually see itself ported to the N64 instead. It found life on the N64 as a completely different game, but then... yeah, it would end up being something completely different, but it would keep this idea that every character has a different quote-unquote instrument, or rather, like, a different sound to it. Okay, so we can come in here now. This isn't even where I, like, meant to come in, but we can, unlock the painting, the picture for Freezeezy Peak, which, along with Treasure Trove Cove, might be my favorite. Those are my two favorite levels in the game, I think. I do like Gobi's Valley, though. And am I able to come up here? I forget what I need to do to break the ice here. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to get over here with Banjo and Kazooie though, using the boots, but we did it with the gator instead. Where are we supposed to use the gator then? I know there's something that only the alligator can do. Maybe it was this. Yeah, they even put the boots there for us to, like, be able to get back. Huh, weird. But yeah, it's just so interesting to me, and I'm glad Rare was able to, like, kill its darlings and make something even though it was very different from what they originally envisioned. Which is also the case with, the future of the series. So they made Banjo-Tooie, which is, like, a big, expansive sequel. There's a couple other Banjo games not made by Rare that they licensed out for the Game Boy Advance. There's, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, which is an isometric platformer on the GBA. The closest thing I could compare it to maybe is... Yeah, I know. It's getting weak. Is that really all I'm supposed to be doing with the gator? I might remember later that I was, like, supposed to do something else. I'm not sure. What was in here? Oh, right, boots. Okay. I want to head over there and see what I was missing. We already, like, finished Bubble Boop Swamp, and we have some more episode left, so we might be kind of wandering for the rest of this. But yeah, there's Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, which, like, if you ever saw, like, some of the, like, Spyro platformers that were for the GBA, I think it was the same team. It's an isometric platformer. It wasn't really anything to write home about. And then there was also Banjo Pilot, which I think was maybe an evolution of, like, Donkey Kong Pilot, which was something that was in the works at one point. There we go. Oh, and now we need the... now we need the alligator. And a little bit more than that, probably about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. That, like, running somewhere else to get a certain character and then coming back so you could do this happens a little bit in this game, happens a lot in Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Tooie. So let that be my review, that if you have a problem with that, then you'd have a problem with those games. But they're still great games that I love very much. Right, so there's nothing that I need in here, but I wanted to come in here to show you guys this anyway, just because this is cool. This is Cheeto. Yeah, so if I enter blue eggs in the sandcastle level of Treasure Trove Cove, I'll get, I think, like, double the eggs, or maybe it's unlimited eggs. I don't know, but, yeah, it's just like a fun little cheat, which I'm not going to actually use. But I'm just glad I came in here and was able to show you, even though it's not something that's actually going to influence my playthrough very much. I don't know how often he gives you, because I know there's a lot of different cheats. Is it based on how many, like, how many Jiggies you've collected? I'm not sure. But anyway, as I was saying, there was Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge on the GBA, and there was also Banjo Pilot, which was a racing game on the GBA. I've never played either of them. I don't hear that they're very great, but they exist. And then when Rare came back to Banjo-Kazooie, this was after the games were... after Rare was bought by Microsoft. So it was on the 360 Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which you've probably heard as a game that is terrible, terrible, and ruins everything about Banjo-Kazooie. And while I think it's kind of a bit of a problem, the game itself is, like, really not bad. It's actually kind of a lot of fun. It is... The problem with it is that it's a spin-off to Banjo-Kazooie when people really wanted a new Banjo-Kazooie game. You can actually see they were working on a, like, Banjo 3E, if that's what they were going to call it, for the GameCube. There exists a tech demo of it that was shown at Space World. What was that, like Space World 1999 or something? Space World 2000? But, yeah, not that it really showed much except some character models. They got bought by Microsoft and they were thinking of other things to make. So one thing they were going to make was something called Banjo X, which was going to be a remake of the original Banjo-Kazooie that would start off as a remake but would have some, like, surprises in there, like, almost expressly for the sake of surprising people familiar with the original game, and it would have some meta humor the way Banjo-Kazooie loves being meta at the expense of the fact that it was a remake, like kind of like a Conker Live and Reloaded does, because that's a remake of Conker's Bad Fur Day. Would have been something like that. Like, one of the examples they cite was, like, going through Mumbo's Mountain and having, and, like, just when you're finishing up the level, the, like, ant hill, the termite hill explodes and there's a giant termite and you have to fly and shoot eggs at it to defeat it. Like, it would be things like that, just little surprises. So I'm just kind of, like, searching around now. Opening doors. I can't open that door. Trying to remember how I'm supposed to actually open up spider webs. I don't really remember. Okay, hey Gruntilda. The disgusting Gruntilda has tadpoles on toast for breakfast. Ew. Also, she usually has maggot pie for dinner. Wartbags then finishes with eyeball ice cream for dessert. How horrid. Oh no, I can't help but think of Gruntilda as, like, kind of a class traitor. Like, she thought she was too good for her family, because you meet two other witches in Banjo-Tooie, and they're closer to being like Gruntilda. Okay. Oh, I actually saw, like, a pathway up there maybe I was supposed to jump to. Wait, okay, we could be, like, jumping ahead, but I actually want to just make sure I'm covering my bases here. Yeah, it looks like there's a jump I can make to over there, but I don't think... No, I think that's something I'm supposed to get from the other side, and I failed, so never mind all that. We have not much of this episode left, but I want to go into Freezeezy Peak anyway. Also, I know I haven't gotten the Jiggy from the Witch Switch from the last level yet. We're going to have to go get that later. But here's the thing I don't like about Freezeezy Peak and Gobi's Valley, is that to finish everything in them, you need help from bottles. You need to learn a new move from bottles, and a move you need in Gobi's Valley is in Freezeezy Peak, and a move you need in Freezeezy Peak is in Gobi's Valley. And that drives me nuts. So it means that you're going to have to leave one of these levels without 100% completion. So I don't think I'm even going to bother trying to get musical notes right now, because I'm just going to have to leave and come back anyway. But I might pick up some jiggies anyway. Yeah, so this is the polar bear family. These are Boggy's children, and Boggy's family actually comes back in full force in Banjo-Tooie also, but right now they're just 3 sad bear children. Alright, I'm not collecting musical notes, let's not worry about that. Oh, my stomach aches. Yeah, so Boggy has just kind of been laying here away from his kids because the idiot swallowed a jiggy. And unfortunately, we can't get it out of him without a little bit more force. Even doing the beak buster on top of him is not enough. So yeah, what I really want to do here is just find bottles so that we can get the one power-up we need. But I mean, I think Jinjo's safe at least, so we might as well grab other things we see as we're going. Yeah, the water is too cold. Maybe we could still get all 100 musical notes though if we tried, and we could do everything in here except for the second Boggy race. Because I want to say the molehill might be... Oh, man. So, playing this on an LCD TV, you know, these games were made for old CRT TVs. Right now, the way the color is on my LCD, I, like, cannot see the feathers. They are blending right in with the scarf. I think it's really cute how it alternates yellow and red and puts notes on the yellow and feathers on the red. That's very cute. I cannot see the feathers. But that's okay. It would be more frustrating if I couldn't see the notes, because that's what I care a lot more about collecting. Okay. Yeah, I think I've changed my mind. I think I am going to try and do all 100 musical notes before leaving this place the first time. I think that's the right thing to do. Alright, there's a sled here. That sled is very important, but I'm going to go up here first. And collect this present that's up here. Okay, trying to grab... Oh. Didn't really need that golden note. Get up here on a hat. I think there's just eggs up here. I love the Christmas feeling of this level. I love the music. I love the look of the mountains. They remind me of the mountains from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original animated version. And there's a giant ice cube up here that you destroy brutally. Grabbing notes, grabbing notes, grabbing notes. I don't know, because am I going to keep recording after I finish this episode? I don't know if I'm going to. So maybe it is kind of a fool's errand to be collecting notes right now. So I'm going to just turn the game off in a minute anyway. I don't know, I'm indecisive. Okay, so back to the history lesson. They're making Banjo X. They decided not to. They decided to go in a different direction. So instead, they got the idea of something called Banjo-Kazooie. Because if you look at interviews for, if you look at interviews that Rare made about making nuts and bolts, they talk about something that I think is kind of cool, that, like, what they like so much about this game is that it's a sandbox of all these problems to solve, and you have to figure out how to solve them. But they wanted to create a game where there wasn't just one way to solve anything, and actually the player could determine, in a way, how problems were solved. And the best way they could think of for that was some system where you built something for whatever the task at hand was. So that became, originally a project that would have been called Banjo-Kazooie, like Zoom, which would have been a banjo game but based a lot in vehicles, and then that eventually became something called Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which is a game that actually came out and is okay, but after how long it had been since the last Banjo game, and like all the confusion of like Rare getting sold to Microsoft, people thought, oh no, there's never going to be a Banjo game again, and then hooray, there is going to be another Banjo game, but it's not what anybody thought it was going to be. Sorry, I had to fight an evil ice cube. Oh yeah, I would need musical notes anyway for bottles there. Okay, and there's this whole thing that I gotta do. I was always really bad at this. So basically you need to escort you need to make sure these twinklies get to the tree okay. You need to make sure at least 10 of them get up there, I think. Which is actually kind of difficult. Because these guys come back very quickly. Okay. Did I even hit that one? Why do you eat glass? They must have, like, really thick hides in their mouth. Okay, okay, okay. They have a tendency to come right when... like, just in time to ruin your plans. Good. Okay, got in one. So now there's enough lights on the tree that we can turn it on. Oh yeah, you're also not supposed to go in the water here because the water is so cold. I think you... Does it hurt you? I think it's that it hurts you. It has slightly different properties. In Rusty Bucket Bay, they changed the properties of it again, where instead it's... you, like, run out of air even when you're on the surface. Oh! Gosh dang. Everything's on a timer, I don't like it. And the camera angles kind of get into me there. But okay, trust that you have enough time. Just calm down and trust in the time limit the game gave you. Was I too slow? Wait a second, I'm confused. That should be open, shouldn't it? Kind of forgetting how things work. Okay, well that's another present for a sad bear child that maybe will make happier. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe I was too slow. We'll go out and hit the power button again then, I guess. But yeah, I got those notes. Let's just look on the top layer here if there's anything else we might be missing. No, just eggs. Let's try this again. I swear we should have had enough time, but okay. Be a star and you'll find your reward. Hurry. Oh! Be a star. We're supposed to, we gotta fly. Okay, we gotta find a device to let us fly then. This will do nicely. Okay, I thought it was asking me to race to the top of the tree. It is not. But I guess I need to fly through multiple times. And once more. There we go. Okay. So yeah, the problem isn't so much that Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is a bad game. It's that it's not the game that people wanted. It was a very poorly timed game because it also makes a lot of jokes about the whole collectathon genre. Especially it begins with this whole thing where you're in like a collection race against Grunty, and it has the audacity to say like, oh, nobody will ever want to play a game like this where you just collect things, and it like tries to make it look like collecting things is dumb. And I know that's just, you know, Rareware ragging on itself because it has a very self-deprecating sense of humor. Like all of their games have this self-deprecating sense of humor. That's normal for them. But a lot of people took it as sort of an insult to people who liked the first two games, and they took Nuts and Bolts as an utter betrayal because Nuts and Bolts is nothing like Banjo-Kazooie. Even though it has a lot of fan service, there's a lot of returning characters, a lot of like obscure bits of like returning things. Yeah, so we're learning another important move here. We gotta wrap this episode up though soon. Okay, good. So, now we have what we need to get everything in Gobi's Valley. Unfortunately, we're not in Gobi's Valley, we're in Freeze-Easy Peak. And we don't have everything we need for Freeze-Easy Peak. Also, I'm messing up where I'm going here. So... you can't tell from watching, but snow is actually pretty slippery in this game. You have really poor traction everywhere you go. Alright, we got this guy, and we have flight now, which is, I mean, we have this ability. What's it called again? I call it the dive bomb. I should call it me getting myself killed. Because it's a little dangerous if you're not using it right. Yeah, so you can take these guys off by hitting their hats. Kind of strange that the hat would be the weak point. Actually, no, that's not strange at all. That makes perfect sense. Because it's like Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman came to life when a magic hat was put on his head. So you're like taking the magic hats off them and they die. Oh, I actually like that. Don't get me wrong, it's super grim. But doesn't mean I don't like it. Oh, okay. Lost my power up. Alright, so I'm thinking maybe we should do... no, I think I'm gonna call it here, because, I need to get going, and I don't have enough time to get the last of these musical notes right now. Yeah, I'm looking at my time. Time's going long. So, I'll tell you what, next time we'll head on over to Gobi's Valley, and we'll try and complete that first. And then we'll come back here and we'll collect all the Jiggies we haven't gotten yet. But while we're here, we might as well take these presents back to Boggy's kids, because we have all 3 of them now. There we go, right up there. I think this is the right path here. It can get a little bit confusing which slope you need to take, but I'm pretty sure this is it. Alright, very good. Alright, here you go, bears. Thank you, brown bear. I always thought that was kind of cute because, like, you're a bear too and they're a bear. So, like, the main difference... Oh, we're polar bears, you're a brown bear. And now they're, like, so happy because they have presents. They're not even opening the presents. Who knows what's in them? It doesn't matter. It's just that somebody cared about them because Boggy seems like kind of a deadbeat dad. Yeah, and if you think about it, this was, like, 8 Jiggies in one episode plus some. Why don't we revealed a witch switch before, too. Why don't we hit that since we're going to be leaving the stage anyway? Maybe we'll get it on our way to somewhere else. Where was it? So yeah, if you have the means to and like the idea of a game where you, like, build your own car and stuff, check out, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. It's not bad, it's just not Banjo-Kazooie, unfortunately. Alright, Merry Christmas. This is, like, the Christmas level. It's not even the snow level, it is the Christmas level. I'm the Comic Foil, and I will see you next time.